1, 2, 3. We are not live. We are not live, but we are alive, Gary. Welcome to another day on planet Earth. Chris Evans used to say that on his breakfast show. I was just like that. Welcome to another day on planet Earth. And he's right, Gary. Welcome to another day. We're lucky to be here, aren't we? We are.
We are.
Oh, hello, lovely Gary. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Rachel. How are you?
I'm very well. And look, today, because it's a tea time tutorial, so we always have a tea. But actually, we went off that a long time ago because we mix our drinks up. But I've got a little iced latte today.
And I've got well, it's actually a hot drink, but it's a ginger tea. Must be a sign the summer's here.
I know the summer is well and truly here. Look, I've actually got a bit of a tan. Anyway, so hello, lovely you, Gary. Hello, lovely you, YouTuber. How are you? We would love you straight away if you could help us to get out there as the algorithm. If you like what we do here, please hit the thumbs up. Do it on the way in, do it on the way out. We don't care. And if you subscribe to our channel, of course, that would be amazing. We don't go live. We put up something every Friday for you, and we would love to have you following us. And of course, we love your comments as well, and we always respond to them. There were some really nice comments on the episode that we did last week, which was about grief and art and how that can heal you. And that was a lovely episode, so do have a look at that. We've got about 50 videos at the moment, maybe even more by the time you watch this, in our tea time tutorial list. And what we do is we do a little bit of art every Friday. It's a very simple thing that we do. You can see on my table there just some bits and pieces you can gather from around the house. And the idea is to give you 20 minutes of peace, of calm, mindfulness. We always have a little chat at the beginning as well about things that have happened to us in the week, and maybe we could just have the odd word of wisdom for you in your life. So if you want to get straight onto the arty bit, the time code is below and you can start doing some art with us straight away. So if you're going to go there, have fun. See you there in a minute. But if you're staying with us, we'll do our little chat now that we always do, lovely Gary. So yesterday I went to pick up my father's ashes, but I also picked up his watch, and I picked up the lovely picnic blanket that I have used with him as a child. I put it on me for about a second, but it's about 150 degrees here, so I won't put it on much longer. So yes, I won't keep the blanket on for very long because it is very hot, but this is a blanket that I used with my father as a child. And of course, this is his watch. And you know, this is just, it's not an expensive watch at all. It's just like a canvas strap. But I just wanted to talk, Gary, about why, because obviously we are a crafting company, why textiles, because there are a lot of memory quilts out there. People are memory quilts, they're making memory bears, they're making memory pillows, you know, things like this. And this is a canvas strap. And what I love about this watch is that it's very used on the end. It's so worn. I can see where he's touched it every single day. I mean, I think he wore lots of watches in the end. There was a gold watch, and I wasn't interested. I wanted this one because I remember my dad was a mechanic and he always had a big black watch on for many years. This was one of them. But it's so worn, and it fits my wrist, and it's just amazing. And last night I put it on my jewelry shelf and I just went, oh, all right, Dad. And isn't it weird how textiles and things that we touch can mean so much to us? It's like you're bringing a part of that person back, but we're not really, because it's an inanimate object. This is an inanimate object, and it's been washed. So there's none of my dad's scent in here or anything. So what do you think it is, Gary, about things that we touch that bring back memories or are so important for us? What's it all about?
I think, well, it's like you're saying about touching, but I think it's about all the senses are imbued in that textile. So it's about the visual. So you're looking at it visually, that imparts some memories, doesn't it? Like the blanket and the picnics, it's like, remember, and in your mind, it just sort of triggers those lovely times. The watch, you know, yes, it's warm, and so that you can feel it, you can touch it, you can put it on as well. But also another visual that you see your father when he was, you know, doing the mechanics, when you're doing his everyday job, something that's so there that we just see, but we don't really realize until that person's gone how important those really like simple things are. The blanket, the watch. I've got, in fact, crocheted blankets that I can remember my great aunt, my nan. And these blankets, I've got quite a few of them now, but each one of them reminds me of that individual that made them.
As you get older, you begin to realize what matters in life and who matters in life. when you do get things like this, when people have passed on, and the passing of time, maybe it's your own mortality that's coming into view. You think, well, you know, they're on that conveyor belt, you're the next in line on the conveyor belt. But you start to really cherish the people that matter in your life, you know, the people who are kind to you, and, you know, and have spent memories with you and time with you. It's not about money. And I think that's a really important thing, that life is about love and friendship. It's not about money. Yes. Deep today, Gary. We could go on for hours, couldn't we? But yes, I hope that if you are able to get something like this, lovely YouTuber, you can hold on to it and cherish it. I love the summer. I love the summer. I could live in 41-degree heat, but I can't wait for winter, because I want to sit in my studio with wrap around me all day when I'm working. I can't wait. I was doing my hair this morning and I was like this, and all I saw was my dad's watch, you know, when I was doing my hair, and I could visualize him on a morning. I mean, he had very, very short hair, and he was a bit bald in the back, but he's very definite about his hair, and used to comb it. You know, it was always, I mean, I've just been given his comb, but it's like, you know, his comb. So when I was doing my hair, I could imagine him with putting his little bit of spray on to keep his hair down, you know. So yeah, these things are really important. So yeah.
They are. I think also, Ray, I was just thinking, you know, that blanket you're saying about waiting for the winter to come. But no, I think you need to organise a picnic. Definitely.
Yes.
You need
Oh,
to have a picnic.
definitely.
And
Definitely.
again, what's nice is that you said it has been washed. So you don't feel that if it gets, you can now use it, because if it needs a wash, you can give it another wash. It doesn't matter.
That's a good point.
You know, so I think definitely it's just waiting for a lovely family picnic. Just you and your husband and your daughter go out for a picnic. It'd be lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. Might even buy some sausage rolls. Right, well, I'm going to move it out of the way now, Gary, because we are going to be working with paint today. It's time for our exercise today.
Okay, so I just think, you know, I've got here on my desk this lovely little flower. This is a cosmos. It'll be a great way, and what I'm going to show you is a great way of sort of printing a flower shape. We're going to work into it a little bit, but we're going to use a printing method. So I'll put that little flower to one side, and that's just like a little prompt for me, really. But the flowers can be however you want them to be from what the process that I'm going to show you. We're going to use some acrylic paints today. Yes, we can fill in with a little bit of the watercolor paints that are quite often used, but acrylic paints, just because they're a little bit thicker. And I did try this with the watercolor paints, and the outcome wasn't as successful. So I thought, well, I'll go to acrylics, and I've got some white, I've got the pink color, because if I bring the flower back into view again, I'm going to try and create this sort of like nice color, pink color, and I've got a little bit of yellow for the center. If you haven't got yellow acrylic, you know, don't worry, because we can make the center from watercolor paint as well, so that's fine. And I'll put those to one side for a minute. What you do need is a plastic bag. So this is just like a very thin food bag. I know, Rachel, you've got like a sort of a bin liner, which is perfect, but a bag that we're going to use to print these flower shapes. We're going to print with this. So what you need to do with the bag, with the closed end here, you're just going to gather it together, and you're just going to put a knot in the closed end. So you just want a knot to go into that there, like so. Okay, nice little knot just at the end. You don't want too much here, just want a little bit, but you're just going to put a knot almost like in the ends, like so. Then what you're going to do is you're going to turn it inside out. So the knot is now inside, and you've got a nice that you've got this sort of central sort of point in there. Now, what you can do is you need to just fill that, not with lots, with just a little bit of cotton wool or tissue, you know, toilet tissue, something like that. Just a small bit of cotton wool. You don't want to make it too big, and you don't want to make it too dense. We're just going to put a little bit of cotton wool up inside there, like that, and like so. And then you're just going to, so it's just trapped like that, and then you're just going to twist it around like that. So now what you've got is this is going to become your printing pad. So you're going to use this to create your flower shapes. So I'm going to leave that to one side. So while you're getting that ready, then on my little, I've got a little piece of, you can have a plate or a little palette or something to the side of you. I've got a couple of jars of water, as always. I've got some paint brushes, so you might have a selection of paint brushes. A biggish paintbrush, a big flat paintbrush. I've got some little paint brushes, maybe you only need a couple of those really, don't need many. What else have I got? So I've got my paints, and then I have got some little pencils and a pen here as well. You could have crayons, felt tips, or whatever. I'm just going to colour them in with a bit later. What I am going to do at the moment on this white piece of paper, it's quite good quality paper. You could use copy paper from the printer if that's all you've got at hand, but if you've got some nice cartridge paper or from a sketchbook or something like that, it's quite nice. It's got a little bit more body to it, and it probably won't wrinkle up so much when you just paint it. What I'm going to do is I don't want this stark white background. I just find it's a bit too stark, so I'm just going to rub or just put on a little wash of water over the back just to get that started, and then I'm going to just with my watercolors, always test my paints before I'm just going to run a little bit of pink across the back, literally just give it a little wash on the back like that, so it's just breaking up the color just a little bit, not dark, it's literally just a hint of pink. I just find that it just breaks it up a little bit. I'm going to just give that a dry with a hairdryer. That's literally that's enough just to take the damp, sort of like it's just take the wet off of it. Okay, let's mix up a few colors. So over here I've got the white. This is just ordinary titanium white in acrylic paint, and this is primary magenta 2, so that's what it's called. So it's a magenta paint, but if you've got just an ordinary red, you could use a red. But I think just pink's nice, or you could make a little, if you've got purple, you could do a purple color. You don't need a lot of paint really, just the spot of paint. I'm going to get that bit more in view for you so you can actually see that a little bit better. And then some white paint. So have them as separated apart, and then you probably need, I'd say you need more white paint than you do actually need the colored paint. So, and a little goes a long way, but there we are, some white paint, that's enough. So with a damp brush, what we're going to do is we're going to just take the magenta across a little dab at a time, and we're just going to mix that in. And can you see, actually, a little dab does go a long way. So you can take it up a bit darker tone. I'm just going to mix that to a nice darker tone like that. And that's lovely. All right, now what you do, this is how you print your flowers. So you don't want loads of this on there, just get as much off the brush as possible. I should just cover that. Right, so you've got your this is your little printing pad. Remember that you've got the center of that knot in the middle. Now what you do is you just brush. So I'm going to just use my brush, and I'm just brushing away from the center. So I'm brushing away from the center, so it looks like that. And then what I'm going to do is then I'm going to use that, and I'm going to just print it down. So I just squash it down onto the paper and lift it off, and it leaves this lovely impression of something that in a minute is going to become the flower. So, and then you can then add some more paint again, again working from the center. And in fact, you can probably see that actually I'm not right in the center. It's quite nice to leave a little gap in the middle, and we're going to fill that in with something else in a minute. And I'm just going to do that. So we're going to continue that. I think probably 5, 6 flowers dotted around. Imagine them up this end of the piece of paper rather than down here, because we're going to have some stems and some leaves as well. So just keep going. I'm going to see how Rachel, here she is. Oh, wow, Rachel.
Can I just say, I mean, this is super exciting. I mean, you know, I love anything that is a little bit messy. Although this is not messy, actually, it's not messy. But I love this printing thing. This should, like I said, we mentioned this before about when you were at primary school, and you know, we love doing things like this. And it's like, it reminds me of potato printing. But yes, how brilliant is that? That from literally a bag, like you know, like you did. I've just done exactly the same with my toilets. It's a bag that you put into a toilet bin.
I thought that, how posh. When you said, I'm just going to get my bags that I put in the bins in my toilets. I thought, oh, toilets, very posh, bathroom bins. Very good. Right.
Very fun.
So about 5 or 6 dabs. That's all you need.
Okay. I'll do one more. Love it. How far should I go down on the paper?
Well, I tell you what, you could do one within the top right up there. That's it. Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice combination. Lovely.
Yeah,
Very
lovely.
nice. Okay, now you could dry these at this stage, but if you're, I don't know what you're going to, have you got some yellow acrylic for your centers?
Yes,
or yeah? So again, on your sheet, just if you're going to use the dry some acrylic yellow, you'll be fine. As long as, what I would say, if these have got quite wet or quite splodgy, you could always just give them a little dry with a hairdryer. And then what you need now is maybe just a bit of a finer brush or a thinner brush, and then you're just going to dab that into the yellow and pick up some yellow on your brush like that. And then you're just going to dot, 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 just splodge, splodge, splodge in the center. You don't have to fill the center. It's like splodge, splodge, splodge in the center. Just a little bit, like so.
You know what I love about these little art sessions, Gary? I mean, obviously we've got the mindfulness part and having fun, but what I love is that it's such a cheat. It is, isn't it? Because, you know, by the end of it, I mean, I know I've had some major league jealousy moments of your trees or whatever it is, but at the end of it, usually I do sit back and I go, wow, if someone had said create a page of flowers, I would have, you know, started drawing literal things and they would have been rubbish. And mostly out of the end of these exercises going, that's really clever.
It's just little techniques that make you help you to create art, really. That's what we're doing. So hopefully we'll be able to create these. So let's have a look. So now what we can do, how is yours? You're quite wet. We're going to pick up the green. We're going to pick up the green, some green watercolor, and we're just going to put in some stems at the moment. We're just going to put in our stems. So we're going to just run the stems with the tip of the brush. I'm holding the brush just like this, and I'm just going to, with the paint, I'm just going to go through and down. So if when you're doing a stem, there's a flower in the way, you go behind the flower. So don't you stop and come out behind it. So you don't want that necessarily becoming, you don't want it going, you don't want the stems really going across your flowers, because well, that will look quite nice. That's it, Rachel, lovely.
Oh, this is one of my favorites. This is up there with the marbles.
It's up there with the marbles, good. And so that's it, lovely. Just very little ethereal little stems. And then what you can do is not necessarily try and create a leaf shape, but if you just bring something from off the stem and you just move the brush to one side, you can get a slightly thicker. So rather than the brush up pointing downwards, have the brush, so this is a little bit of technique, have the brush more horizontal and then just come off from the stem and then just flick away. That's it.
I need a bit more paint on.
That's it.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Lovely.
And I think that's, you know, you could go on and on adding and adding, but I just think, again, with lots of these times, we have to say, well, hold back, because we get so engrossed in the technique and the process, we could just keep adding and adding. So let's just, for the moment, what we're going to do is we're just going to give this a little dry with the hairdryer, and then we can then put in some more, we can go in with some pencils.
All right.
Okay, and then so next what I think we can do is in the centers of the flowers with maybe a black pen or a biro, we're just going to do little circles, just tiny little circles on the yellow. So they're like the little stamen within there, just a little, I'm just doing a little circles of flowers around the edge, which just start to pick out. So we're just going to pick out a little bit of detail. You know, you might be quite happy to leave it almost where you are, you know, it could be completely, but if you just want to work into it a little bit more, we can just go in with our little pen and just work in just a little bit more, just to add a little bit more detail. Exactly like that. That's fine. And then another thing we can do, so you can take a crayon or a pencil, and then again, you don't want to be too like accurate and trying to draw petals in. What you're going to do is just go with the marks of the print. So just maybe just almost just like a little sort of zigzag around, just give it a little bit of a few marks around, which just gives a little bit more energy to the flowers. It sort of makes the flowers, rather than being sort of like flat, it just sort of gives them a little bit more realism, I suppose. That's the word I'm looking for, just a little bit. And it's literally a very loose little sketchy little pencil that's just sort of radiating out from the center. You just sort of zigzag it backwards and forwards. Lovely. That's looking nice, and I love your colors, Rachel. Very nice.
I love the colors.
And again, then when you've done that, and again, you've got to hold back. You've got to hold back from trying to recreate those petals. It's very much a sort of an impressionist, about just making some marks, putting those marks around the print, and then it starts to make the print become much more energetic. Okay. Next, you can take a green pencil, and then you're just going to let again. And I tend to hold my pencil sort of halfway up, so, and I'm holding it sort of quite sort of vertical, and I'm just going to follow the stems up with the pencil, and it just redefines the stems. So it might be just slightly darker, and then I can go across the leaves. So again, I'm just giving it a little bit more of a sort of a drawn painterly effect, I think, is what we're looking for here. Like that. There you go. So how's yours, son? Let's have a look at Rachel. That's lovely.
Ah.
No, and you know, it's such a quick exercise.
Yes.
For something so effective.
Yes, it really is. I'm amazed, because I'm actually speechless. But once I haven't got flowering from me, and I absolutely love yours. I love it. But I love mine as well. And once again, they're both very different.
And just,
you know,
such a simple technique. And again, it's quite nice. Yeah, lovely, Rachel. Really nice. That is really nice. You know, we've talked about how your confidence in mark making and artwork is coming, and you know, I've shown you the technique, and everyone out there that's going to be following us, as you know, you can do that bag technique, but then to go back in with that mark making with the pencil and just go over, you know, you are much more, it's more confident marks now than we've had before. You know, it is definitely, and it's becoming much more of an artist's approach to the work, rather than being frightened and sort of holding back and being very tentative with your marks. You've just gone in there and just done that. I'm really pleased that we just, you know, remember that white background can sometimes be a bit stark. So always try and start with just a little wash of colour behind, because it just really makes a difference, rather than working on the stark white.
Yeah, the wash does make a difference. I mean, you can't really see mine as much as you can see yours, but in real life, you can just see a lovely, very delicate.
Yes. Yeah,
wash.
and that's all it has to be. It really only has to be a delicate wash. And you know, if you can match the wash as a very light tone to the main color of the flower, so yours is a much more redder tone for the flower, so you've got a little bit more of a redder tone, where mine's more going towards sort of like the lighter pink color. So that's where we're, but yeah, we're off to the framers, I can see.
We're off to the framers. It's going to the Tate Modern.
We need in this moment, we need the gallery music as we view the gallery with all your work in there.
We do, which means we come back to this shot and we go. Oh, look, I don't want to cover any of the other ones up.
No. And I say to you, we've got to get you a bigger board. You've got
to do. Watch this space. Literally.
Okay.
Oh, lovely.
You know what next you'll be having? You'll be having invites to your open studio.
This little, you can only fit 3 people in here, and even then you're pretty close up. It's the size of a lift. I mean, it's a very small room.
So what you're in, is it Lincolnshire, the county you're in?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm sure that Lincolnshire will have what they call Open Studio Arts Week, probably at the end of the summer. I think you should put your name down.
I think we should. I think we should. I'm actually calling myself a we. I think, yes, I think we should. I think this art organisation should. Anyway, Gary, once again, it's brightened up my wall. It's brightened up my life. It was a lovely exercise, and just a great cheats way to create those wonderful flowers. And at the end, you feel once again like you've achieved something, like you are a bona fide artist, which is the idea of this channel. It's to give you confidence. It's to, you know, give you fun. I think there are going to be some great comments on this one underneath. Come on, Michelle. Come on, Michelle. I know she'll be watching it. I know she will. We've had some lovely comments, so thank you very much. Right, thank you so much, Gary. We will, of course, be doing another tea time tutorial next Friday, but of course, for you, they're on the channel. You can watch them whenever you want. Just go to the tea time tutorial playlist, and you will see so many videos for you to pick and choose from. And yeah, if you look at, I mean, the pictures are the same. It's always me and Gary with our mugs, these mugs. But if you look at the description, it just kind of give you an idea of what we do, and we certainly talk about what we do in each description as well. So have a look, and as I say, if you could give us a thumbs up on the way out, that would be wonderful. So we will see you all next time. Bye.